Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5s. Let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Smile 2, number 2 would be Terrifier 3, number 3 would be The Wild Robot, number 4 would be We Live in Time, and number 5 would be Joker Fully Adieu. And I only got 1 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend. Some of them flip-flopped. A movie that I thought would make it into the top 5 did not. One of you did manage to get your predictions right for this weekend with no edit marks, and it was before the cutoff, so congratulations. Here's your shout out. Let's move on into what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, of course, Smile 2, and I was wondering how well it was going to do compared to the first film. And really, there isn't really that much of a difference. It opened to $23 million. Now, tomorrow on Monday, when the official numbers come out, we'll see if it's like maybe a little under that or even a little bit over. But the first Smile film, before it went on to have its great run, opened to $22 million on its opening weekend. So 23 for 2, it's technically better, but it's also like right in line with how that first movie did. Right now, obviously, this is the only domestic intake we have. Worldwide, it is sitting at $46 million. So importantly, since the initial production budget for this film is $28 million, an $11 million difference from the first film's budget, by the way, they are only $10 million off from doubling that and being considered a success for our show's standards. But it will be interesting to see what the longevity is for both of these runs. Once again, with this show, it's going to get more interesting as the weeks go by, because the first Smile really benefited from great word of mouth. It came out at just the right time to have a really fantastic run. Because if I remember correctly, that film came out at the end of September, so they had like the whole month of October leading up to Halloween. This movie is opening up like smack dab in the middle of October. We got a week and a half until Halloween, which isn't even in a weekend. It's on a Thursday. So it's kind of like, so we will see how well it continues to do. Obviously, it's good. Like we've just mentioned, it's very close to doubling its budget. But as far as matching or getting close to what the first film ended up, making for both domestic and worldwide, we will see how it goes. Especially because next weekend, it'll be competing with Venom. I think that's the that's the thing. Also, it'll be interesting just to see how Venom does. But anyways, as far as the domestic run for the original film, it needs $82 million to get there, and then worldwide it needs $171 million too. So, just to put in context how well that first Smile ended up doing, that's kind of what 2 is kind of facing down right now. I think no matter what, Parker Finn is going to be all right. The team is going to be fine, and they'll probably be talking about Smile 3 because, like I said, they're only $10 million shy of doubling their initial production budget. It's just, can they match that first film's success? We will see. But right now, good start. Number 2 was The Wild Robot, making $10 million, adding to a domestic total of $101 million for DreamWorks. That is $11 million over Ants. Fuck you, Woody Allen. $4 million over The Bad Guys, and a couple $100,000 over The Prince of Egypt, which I had thought they already outgrossed, but I guess I was wrong on that one. It's only $1 million behind Trolls Band Together, the most recent Trolls film from last year, I get, or almost a year ago. Damn, that already feels like a century ago, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Worldwide, it is sitting at $196 million. So at this point, they have officially doubled their $78 million initial production budget. They're on their way to triple it. But like we've already mentioned before, they're already developing a sequel. And considering how well this movie's doing right now, the word of mouth has continued to spread on this. And in the years coming into this next one that they're going to be making, that's plenty of time for more people to discover it. And of course, it's Oscar chances for Best Animated Feature. I don't want to predict anything too early, but, pretty high chances that this one can take it. You know what I mean? For Best Animated Feature, at least. So yeah, I think the next one will, probably have the potential to do even better. But right now, it's doing pretty solidly. Sorry, that was a tangent. The worldwide DreamWorks list, $44 million over Ants, Fuck You, Woody Allen, $17 million over Flushed Away, and now it needs $1 million until it outgrows as Wallace and Gromit, Curse the Were-Rabbit. So still making its way. And that's great, I've already, because of my tangent, I already kind of talked about everything else I wanted to, so let's move on. At number 3, we have Terrifier 3, not holding over as well as I thought it would, only because I thought it would get number 2, but like a more so split down the middle, 50% hold, that's not too bad for this movie, obviously, and, because of the very small budget, they're already, in the clear completely, but it made $9 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $36 million, and the worldwide total bumps it up to $38 million. So with the initial production budget of $2 million, that is 19 times that initial production budget, which is fantastic. I'm sorry that the title of this video is a lie. You know, Smile and Terrifier grinning side by side. They're not technically side by side, but in spirit they are, and that's all that matters. Fuck you. Let's move on to number 4, which is Beetle Juice, making $5 million, adding to a domestic total of $283 million. For Burton, it is still looking like it's gonna wrap up its run, being his second highest domestic run, $51 million behind Alice in Wonderland right now, and then worldwide it is sitting at $434 million. And once again, it's looking like it's gonna be wrapping up that run in his top 3 for highest grossing worldwide runs, right behind Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by $41 million. But, you know, 4 times that initial production budget, you know, they're totally good and fine. Let's move on to number 5, which is a little more interesting just because it's a little newer. We Live in Time, which when I was looking at the results, I was like, is this, oh god, did I get my predictions right? And, you know, I didn't, but, you know, it still got into the top 5, which is, you know, something. It made $4 million this weekend, though. It was in some other limited markets, so the overall domestic run is only just a little smidgen over this opening weekend. There's no worldwide total to bump it up yet, potentially just because, you know, British, they might be able to bump up the numbers with the worldwide total. I was kind of, when I saw the movie, it was in like a, you know, moderately sized theater, like medium sized, but it was like packed. This was also a Thursday night, but I think that gave me the impression of like, ooh, is this going to have like, you know, because we saw It Ends With Us, like this like drama with, you know, some shades of romance, and, you know, different kind of movies, obviously. But I was thinking like, oh, is it going to be like that again? Like, is We Live in Time shaping up to, you know, do very well in like the like adult drama kind of, you know, department? And no, I think that was just, you know, me reading into a, you know, Thursday night, you know, I'm in a theater filled with people that are just aware of like A24 or Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, you know what I mean? That being said, you know, don't want to rule out that it could continue to do well when people are more aware of it, especially with worldwide markets, but still, you know, I think I thought it would do better. Either way, that's all I wanted to say. There's no budget listed for this thing. I can't assume it's too high, but, you know, with the actors that you have, you know, it's not going to be like a dirt cheap movie. so I'm assuming $4 million isn't quite enough right now at the very least. For the director, it is $2 million over the domestic run of Is Anybody There? And it needs $1 million until it outgrosses Closer Circuit and The Goldfinch. Do you remember The Goldfinch? God, that was a flop. Like it opening weekend $2 million and it stopped at $5 million. Crazy, and that was like a wide release. Wild. Let's move on to number 6, which is Joker Folie à Deux, continuing its decline. About a 60% drop off this weekend after the kind of historic 80% one. It made $2.18 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $56 million. For Todd Phillips domestically, still is yet to outgross Road Trip. It now needs $12 million to get there. That, you know, it just goes to show you the insane kind of backlash against this movie and people not wanting to go see it. You know, that Road Trip is now in the way of Joker 2. You know what I mean? Worldwide, it is sitting at $191 million. You know, it's still making some money in other worldwide territory. It's just never going to be enough to justify how much money they pumped into this to get to that break-even point of $450 million. It did outgross Starsky and Hutch for Todd Phillips by $21 million. It now needs $20 million to outgross Due Date. But that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But hey, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't seem too bothered by it. He looked very happy at that Academy Met Gala thing that was going on, you know? Good for him. Fuck you for ruining everyone's jobs on that Todd Haynes movie, though, you prick. Number 7 is Piece by Piece, the Pharrell Lego movie that is still here, making $2.10 million, adding to a domestic total of $7.6 million. No worldwide totals still, so it's just looking like it's never gonna cross over the initial production budget of $16 million. It is now behind the Lego Ninjago movie by $52 million, because I'm gonna continue to be petty about those stats specifically. And I have nothing else to add to this, because I haven't seen it. Number 8 is Transformers 1, making 1.9 million, adding to a domestic total of 56 million. So now it's 71 million below Bumblebee at this point. Worldwide, it is sitting at 118 million, 320 million below Rise of the Beast, and also about 32 million away from actually doubling its 75 million initial production budget. God damn it, you know? Man, at what point, okay, so I know marketing and, Paramount didn't push it correctly or whatever, but at what point, will people actually listen when everyone else tells them, like, no, it's good, it's actually good, don't watch Mark, give it a shot, you know what I mean? That's why I can't just, like, completely stick, like, when people are talking about why something didn't work, you know what I mean? And, who exactly knows why that is? It's hard to stick to like one thing and just be like, well, that's what did it. It's just the marketing. At what point do people like just zone out what people are saying about a movie? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're thinking about going to a movie, and you're aware of like a trailer existing, I just feel like that's not enough of like a disconnect from like every other reaction about a movie. I don't know, man. God, whatever, doesn't matter. Maybe Paramount Plus streams or merchandise sales will enable them to make another film, and then after that maybe they'll get lucky to close out a trilogy. Or like I suggested, maybe they go the Seth Rogen Ninja Turtles route and do a TV show with, well, in this case none of the voice cast, but continuing the story in some way, shape, or form. We'll see how that goes though. Number 9 is Saturday Night, making 1.8 million, adding to a domestic total of 7.6 million. No worldwide total still. For Jason Reitman, it's 2 million away from outgrossing Tully's domestic run. Not there yet. I'm kind of surprised that this one seems to have like been released and then just like completely disregarded. Like I was kind of talking about, I don't know how many people know that this is a movie that is out, that you can see, that it's a movie that exists. I don't watch SNL, or at least I don't watch them in full. I'll watch like some segments if I know someone is cameoing in it or whatever. But apparently, like, yeah, they're not even referencing this movie, or at the very least, it's not prominent enough where like it's highlighted on Twitter the next day or something like that. Yeah, it just seems like this movie is out, and maybe with the right push, this could have been like a Oscar campaign for at the very least, like maybe the screenplay or like one of the actors in there, because it's that instance of Hollywood making a movie about Hollywood, Hollywood making a movie about the industry, Hollywood making a movie where people get to play other people. So you could have something there, and it just seems like maybe all of that is dead in the water because they released 2 trailers. None of them set the world on fire. You know what I mean? Reactions to the movie, yeah, I guess it did not go widespread enough to convince people to come see it. It's entertaining. Go see it if you still have the chance. And then finally, closing out the video, number 10, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's still here. I thought for sure maybe it was out, but people are still checking this out. Not nearly the same numbers that like the Coraline re-release did, but still, it's cool that people want to see stop-motion movies, even if they're old. This one made 1.1 million, adding to a domestic total of 92 million, and I wanted to correct something from last weekend because I was only looking at the website, the numbers. I looked on like Box Office Mojo and then specifically Wikipedia right before, doing this. The worldwide total is actually like 105 million, and then last week, I had said because I was only looking at the numbers, there was only like a million difference. Not the case. So just, an example of like sometimes these websites, miss something, or someone else has more information or whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. Who cares? We're at the end of the video. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, I am going with Venom: The Last Dance, obviously. Number 2, I think will be Smile 2, and like I said, I think it'll be interesting to see how well it continues to do. I think, for the people that don't want to see Venom, maybe they want to give Smile 2 a shot. Just because of word of mouth, people saying like it's better than just, a lazy sequel, like it ups the ante and it's, really good, like the first movie, and, we saw how that movie ended up doing box office wise. So I'm going to light predict that it will have a good holdover, it'll be, either 50% or below percentage wise. Hope that doesn't bite me in the ass. But I think it'll get number 2 because of that. Number 3, this might be risky. I think it'll be Conclave. It's a drama. Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, Lithgow. So, you can get some other audience members in, and, there's already some kind of early buzz as far as like award stuff, so you get that audience in as well. Number 4, I think, will be The Wild Robot, and then number 5, Terrifier 3. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.